Hello, I'm Dave Wagner. Welcome to another episode of
Come On Down
with Rich Fields right here.
Yeah, nice.
You got something on here. What's the deal with this?
A little Price is Right swag.
Yeah.
Every year at Christmas, they would give us some kind of Price is Right swag, some kind of memorabilia.
Sure.
Usually clothing of some kind. You know, where they could put the logo on it, rain jackets, hoodies, you know, the kind of stuff you get at any TV station or any place. But yeah, this was.
I like that.
I can't remember what year this was, but
it looks gently used. Like
it does.
A lot.
I have it. I think this might have been like the second time ever. So no, I have.
Look good. It fits you and everything.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hey, we want to let you know. Anytime you want to listen to us here, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, any of your favorite podcast providers here, and you can always see the photo and videos. We have a lot of stuff, and we've mentioned this on previous podcasts. But when we talk about photos and video, and you're listening just with your earphones, remember you can always go to our Facebook page and you can see all those photos and video. Facebook.com/ComeOnDownPodcast.
Exactly right.
Facebook.com/ComeOnDownPodcast. If you're listening to this podcast, you can always go watch episodes on our YouTube page as well. Just go to YouTube and search for 10 Tampa Bay. 10 Tampa Bay. So that's the way to do it. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page as well. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea because let's say you forget about the podcast, it'll pop right up on your smartphone and say, hey, you know, Dave and Rich are streaming live right now, like it probably did just seconds ago on your phone.
So it's great to have you guys here. You know, this man has lived a charmed and bizarre life.
Charmed and bizarre.
Yes, I mean, and there are times when it is almost bordered on ridiculous. You know, you think of CBS Television City and Hollywood and all this kind of stuff, and it all seems like it's kind of
unattainable.
Scripted and impossible. But along with that, along with your Price is Right, now this is a show that we talk about game shows, you know, bells, buzzers, anything game show related, but really anything Hollywood related. And you have brushed with fame more than the average person.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 8 to 9 game shows total, 8 network ones. But, you know, just being out there and working and going to events and stuff, and the people that come to these shows that you're on, you know, guests on them, you know, Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk, and I just got Mimi from the Drew Carey Show. Just all kinds of folks are always stopping by.
Don Wells from Gilligan's Island. We talked about a number of them there. But there was a time, and this is an interesting story. Maybe we can share this a little bit.
Okay.
There was a time when a very famous person and you somehow got together here and did something. Well, it sounds dangerous, but I'm assuming it was not.
It was Adam West, the original Batman, and this was for a YouTube series that Fremantle Media was doing on me called Rich Fields Gone Wild. Rich Fields Gone Wild.
There used to be one called Good Girls Gone Wild, and this is Rich Fields Gone Wild.
Yes, exactly right. So Adam was kind enough to be a guest on the program, and he was kind enough to not just be like a guest like you and I are talking now, but to do some acting on it.
Some participation in
this.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah. And I have, from the day we taped this particular episode with Adam West, I have a lot of backstage pictures that nobody's ever seen. And I'll kind of walk you through that day of taping. Script and all. I don't know if people have seen a real Hollywood script and how it's laid out. There's a certain format that you have to follow. So,
walk us through this.
Yeah, okay. So let's just get started here. And I'll show you.
Is that you?
That is me. That is me with Adam West there. And we had the same agent. This is how this happened. We had the same agent in Hollywood. Not only was my agent a game show host agent, he was also the agent for a lot of the classic folks, like Adam West, like Don Wells, like the Riddler, you know, Frank Gorshin, all kinds of folks he had. So it was great to tap in. Fred Westbrook was the agent. It was great to tap into Fred as a source of talent, certainly. And there's Fred right there. Fred passed away in 2010, and I miss him a lot, man. And there he is giving me some advice on the set of this particular shoot.
You look a little taller than than the original Robin.
And I may be. I don't know what he measures up to, but nonetheless, I mean, I wore the tights and all, but not tight tights. This was more of a mock-up, kind of a caricature of the Robin, you know, that you see on the normal Batman. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But the day was it was a beautiful sunny weekend day, and we taped this in Hollywood. There's my wife Christine with Fred, my agent Fred.
And this is when she saw what you were wearing. That's the day she left you?
That's not the day she left me. As a matter of fact, that day hadn't come yet. Christine's been on everything I've ever done.
Right. And, she's a patient person.
She's a patient person, but she's a smart person. She's very witty. I mean, from day one, when I found out I was going to get the job as the announcer or to audition as the announcer, her and I sat down in the living room of our place in Palm Springs and wrote a 10-minute warm-up that I used pretty much the whole thing.
Really?
I mean, it would change day to day depending on the audience. You know, there would be some ad-libbing, but I used the basis of that warm-up for my entire tenure.
Did she have any kind of background in the
Price is Right
at all?
No, she just absorbs. Yes, she absorbs. Anytime I'm on a project, or whether it's voiceover or video or whatever it was, you know, she was always like, you know, what about this? What about that? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? So she's very inquisitive.
Oh, cool.
And really smart chick. She could run a business. She. Huh?
Smart chick. It's just very funny.
Well, smart lady. She's a very smart lady.
She is. Smart woman. Yeah.
So I've always held her, what she had to say in high regard, because it always ended up being, you know, something useful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Her criticism or her changes, you know, I'd be like, that's fantastic. I didn't think of that, and I'd do it, and it would end up being something very funny that I'd end up doing the day.
Great. You know, I mean, she was removed from it enough and knew you that probably was really beneficial having that.
Yeah. And here's a photo. This is a good example right here. Here's the entire, there's Christine, obviously, on the right there. We've got the executive producer right next to her.
Okay.
And then with his back to us, looking at her.
This is the executive producer for this bit.
Correct. He's a Fremantle Media executive, and he's the executive producer on the show. So, you know, we got Christine there, just for folks watching on the internet, because I can't point to him. And as she's talking to us, I'm obviously watching her and laughing at whatever suggestions she made. But she's got the attention of not only me, but the director as well. He's paying real close attention to her, and the DP, the director of photography, as well. So a lot of her suggestions, not only during this shoot, but a lot of shoots, she's had a lot of input in everything I do. Great. So I value everything that she says and does. So
that's great.
It was a lot of fun having her there. It's a lot of fun having her on the shoots and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, it's, you know, she's very much a part of your life, and ends up being, you know, a part of this. I mean, as we know, when you're married to someone and one of the people's involved in entertainment or news or whatever, it's kind of a, you know, you both serve a kind of a public role.
Yeah, I'm sure you run stuff by your wife, right?
Sure. Oh, all the time.
So good, but anyway, the shooting day on the set was, it was a whirlwind. I mean, Adam West, of all people, I mean, to be sitting in the same car, not only the same car, but the Batmobile, you know.
I mean, was this like a new Batmobile, or do you know whether or not this was like a new version, or was it the original one? Or?
No, this is one of the ones that were auctioned off after the show.
Gotcha.
There's only a couple.
Yeah.
And this was one of the original Batmobiles. This wasn't made after the fact. This was one of the original Batmobiles. And there the director is talking with Adam, and Adam's, you know, he's listening. He's listening intently. You know, he wants to get it right. He wants to know what you know, this guy has to say and what the shoot's going on. Yeah. Here I am with the director of photography and the guy with his head down. That's Edouard Delage from Fremantle. He's the executive producer. Gotcha. And you know, the EP in any show, the executive producer, they kind of hang out over here, but they listen to everything. Sure. They listen to every direction, every stage direction, everything. And then when there's any question, and you're like, Edward, come on, you know, you know, I agree with the director. You should da-da-da-da. Or, you know what, Rich is right. And so he'd be the one to, any kind of disagreement, not that there's fighting going on, but just
creative creative, ideas.
Right, exactly. He's the final word. The EP is the final word on anything and everything. So here I am, talking to the EP and the director of photography, and they've just laid out to me where they want me to go with the Batmobile to get this particular shot they wanted. They wanted a particular shot at the end where the flames of the Batmobile, you see that turbo on the back and the flames of the Batmobile come peeling out. And so I'm just trying to get my direction straight with these guys as to which way I'm going to go. So, again, while they hook up a camera next to Adam for his dialogue, I'm talking again with the director, saying, "Hey, look, I just talked with the director of photography, and I'm gonna squeal this way so that the back tires, swerve."
Oh, you mean you were actually gonna peel out of there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, it's funny you say that because I couldn't get enough speed. I had to have my foot on the brake, giving it gas, and then release the brake so that it would peel.
Sure.
And
well, that explains what I've seen you do in the parking lot here.
Thanks, Dave. That's what you do.
Yeah.
So the guy who owned the Batmobile was like, "Gosh, we had done it 2 or 3 times just for practice, and really never rolled tape on him." And then he was like, "Hey, man, you guys you're peeling some tire off my car."
The guy who owns it?
Yeah. I didn't realize that, are you guys going to be buying me tires for this? So they were like, all right, let's take it easy. Let's fake it, Rich. So the director, Adam Margolis, by the way, the guy who's leaning over the car right here, the guy who's leaning over on my side of the car with the glasses on, he's watching me point, Adam Margolis. His father, by the way, a famous director, did a lot of the big, the Emmys, the Academy Awards, big shows like that. His father is a huge director in town.
I forgot that the steering wheel was on the opposite side.
No, it's not.
Oh, are you driving?
Yeah, I'm driving.
Oh, okay.
You may ask why.
Why are you driving?
Because in Adam's exit clause, when they bought Adam out, this is Adam telling me the story, by the way. You can, as an actor, you can go on and just collect residual payments all your life from every time the show airs.
Sure.
But it gets to the point where it's aired so many times, and by the way, in every airing, the fee goes down a little bit, incrementally. Okay, I knew you would be. Okay, so, and then I think it bottoms out at like 12 cents or something, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so for the rest of your life, you end up getting these checks.
Tiny little checks.
Seinfeld, Jerry signing all them checks. I don't know if you remember that episode.
Oh, yeah.
So 12-cent checks. But
with taxes taken out of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes producers will come to you and they'll say, "Look, I'd like to do a buyout with you, Adam. I'm going to give you X amount of dollars, and we are done. There's no more. No matter if we syndicate this a dozen more times in your lifetime, you're done." So they give you a big chunk of money to do this, and as part of that exit agreement, Adam had to sign an agreement that said he'd never wear the collar cape.
Oh.
For video, TV, movies, or video. He couldn't be seen wearing the collar cape. He couldn't be seen driving the Batmobile.
Wow.
Okay?
Driving.
Yes. And that's what the contract said. And we had the CBS lawyers, the Fremantle lawyers look at it, and it said driving. So we said, so can we put him in the passenger seat? And the lawyers were like, yes, as long as he's not driving. It says driving.
Wow.
So there are all these stipulations that Adam had to agree to, and that's why Adam is still kind of dressed in his clothes of the day and not driving.
He still looks good there, doesn't he?
Oh, he was still in fantastic shape there.
What year was that?
Oh boy, you would have asked me, wouldn't you? This would have been 2007 or 8.
2007 or 8. So he died about 10 years later. After this.
So yeah, leukemia.
2017 he died.
I believe complications to leukemia. So. And if you're not savvy to how they tape stuff, you might be able to make out the camera that is strapped to the side of the car. We're going to do the entire scene, and we're going to get Adam's lines on, then we're going to re-rack everything, we're going to come back, we're going to reshoot the scene with the camera on my side, with all the lines again, you know what I mean? And then they piecemeal all this stuff together so that you have close-ups of you, close-ups of me, close-ups from the front of the car of both of us.
Sure.
And it's a painstaking process. The video was less than 2 minutes, the finished product, but this took an entire day.
Yeah.
An entire day.
And if that guy wasn't worried about his tires, look at that thing attached to the side of his vehicle and the paint job.
No, trust me, they all took, it's rubber suction cups, and it's made to not mess up cars, that's for sure. So it was quite the day. I mean, you know, I knew a little bit about stuff about filming. There you might see the thing on the hood of the Batmobile. That's to get a two-shot of the both of us. And
mount a camera on there.
Yeah.
I see it there.
Yeah, while Adam's getting some instruction from somebody off to his right outside of the car, I'm just screwing around, you know, mugging for the camera, and then the guy come in and he was like, you know, give me another pose, Rich, give me another pose. And I was like, oh, so I did the bat dance pose. You remember that, the bat dance?
Of course.
And so just messing around, you know.
You got your little Price is Right
name
tag on.
Well, because the R, I don't know who came up with this, I forget how it happened, but the R of Robin couldn't be seen as well.
I can see that.
That was another trademark issue, or what's it called? Not when artwork. Is it trademark? What's the other one?
Copyright?
Copyright would be written copy, so trademark. So it's trademark on the R, the particular R that they had in red with a black. So we couldn't show that, so we thought, oh, well, how funny. Let Rich wear a name tag from The Price is Right. And so that's what we did.
It's so interesting. I mean, how the attorneys kind of have to walk you around. You've got all these stipulations, you know. He can't wear the outfit. He can't drive. And that's what attorneys are for.
But that's what they're for. And they're also to show you how to get around the written contract.
Sure.
Well, he can still dress as Robin. It doesn't say anything about the Robin costume, just the R. Let's put something over that R, you know?
That's fantastic.
So
where did you get the outfit, by the way?
Fremantle found it at a local Hollywood Halloween costume shop.
Oh, was it like a rent-a outfit?
Yes. It wasn't like a real Robin one, because the tights weren't even tights. They were more like...
Long johns or something?
Yes, they were more, exactly right, like sweatpants, you know what I mean? And they had the green shorts built right in them, so you just pulled them up and it was on, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So this particular shot, we're waiting for our cues. We're getting ready to film this scene, and Adam and I are just sitting in the car talking. And
Does that look like a Tesla symbol on the front?
Isn't that funny? Wow. Wow, I never thought of that. So I happen to be saying to Adam right here in this picture, as we wait for forever for stuff to get, you know, lighting, cameras, whatever. And I just happened to turn to Adam and I said, Adam, personal question? Yeah, whatever you want. And I said, is it true about the girls? And Adam had a long legacy of dating Hollywood starlets.
Oh, really?
Most every one of the time, Adam had been with.
He's a big star.
And he was good looking, and I said, Adam, you know, the person quite, I said, is it true about the girls? And he said, oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you name some of them? And he did. I mean, every famous girl of the day.
Really?
Yeah, Raquel Welch. I mean, just you name it. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
It's not surprising given his notoriety and handsome man and
all of them. And he was single.
Yeah.
And he was a single guy.
Yeah.
I love this one because this is cool perspective. This is the rearview mirror of the Batmobile, the side rearview mirror of the Batmobile, and it's got Adam and I in it. Can you read what it says there at the bottom at all? Let me blow it up for you real quick so you can see what that actually says right there.
Bats in mirror may be closer than they appear.
Is that hilarious or what?
That's fantastic.
And who's the bat they're talking about in this particular case? That guy right there. Adam West. I think it's hilarious. The detail on this car was just fantastic.
And so that was on the rear of the car.
Yeah. So the episode is called Richfield's Gone Wild, or the name of the series is called Richfield's Gone Wild, and we've pretty much taped all our little bits and pieces. And let me walk you through a couple of things. If folks have never seen a real Hollywood script, that's like a cover page, a front page of a script. There's what the script actually looks like. You know, I'll blow up a little bit for you so you can see. It's written in a particular format.
Right.
You know, interior, CBS commissary, day, as opposed to night, you know what I mean?
Right, sure.
Rich shouts. Rich's line, I'm going to play Plinko! Rich's booming voice echoes through the commissary like a minor earthquake. A coffee cup breaks and spills as a quirky customer at the other table tries to take a sip. The waitress holds a menu over her head. She's seen this before as dust falls from the ceiling. And finally, a ketchup bottle vibrates across Rich's table before it slides off the edge, crashing to the ground until an unknown, lightning-quick hand catches it. We hold for a beat on the hero hand before quickly pulling out to reveal that it belongs to Adam West. Rich looks shocked and says, "Whoa, Adam West?" So you get the idea that, I mean, it's all, I mean, you do as the script says.
I love the next line that he says, you've got some pipes, kid, yeah, or whatever.
Right.
So
right.
you did it kind of in your announcer voice.
Well, they kept saying to me, Adam especially, the whole time. When you saw that picture of my agent Fred talking to me and I had a script in my hand, what he was saying was the same thing Adam had said earlier, and I guess I wasn't doing it enough. Adam kept saying, Rich, remember, you're playing a caricature of yourself.
Right.
So this is 10 times, you know, the way you would deliver it anywhere else any other time.
So you were over the top with it.
Completely over the top, right. So,
well, and that's the way Batman was. I mean, the characters were, I mean, Adam West's character, Batman, was kind of more sort of cerebral, but Robin was kind of this hyper kind of, you know, holy cow kind of stuff.
Right, right. Holy flypaper Batman.
Yeah,
yes,
right,
exactly. Right. So we'll start stepping through some of the shots that we did here. So there it is. There's the opening segment.
Oh, there's your jacket.
I'll be darned. I didn't even think of that today when I wore this. That's something else. That's probably the only other time that I actually wore the jacket.
How about that?
So cue Price theme, dun, 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 and you know, Rich walks out from backstage of The Price is Right, and he introduces himself. Hi, I'm Rich Fields, the announcer of The Price is Right. And then it cuts to a shot of the audience with that's from my headshot photo. It's a brand new car.
It just cracks me up looking at you there. I mean, just the just kind of the energy and the entertainment value I see in that picture. I love it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was really a lot of fun. So the show continues on. Let's see. Did I lose my place here? It's streaming by. Doggone it! Hang on a second. Let me get this up on the thing and stop this for a second. Let me go back a couple of frames. So, you know, I'm in the next scene after I introduce myself. I'm in the commissary, and
this is all part of this.
All part of this
bit.
video, yes. So I'll have the Cobb salad, and the waitress is like, you know, I know what you want, and I'm like, you know, spinach, you know, blue cheese dressing, you know, bacon bits, and something on the side.
Right.
You know, she's like, I got it. So. Step forward a little bit.
And this is all scripted out.
This is all scripted out, and the whole purpose of this was for the Price is Right video game on mobile.
Oh.
So here I am with the mobile device, and I'm going to play Plinko. You remember the stage direction?
Of course.
The whole place starts shaking like an earthquake. Yeah. There's a quirky guy with a cup of coffee. There's sparks. There's flames going off because the place is falling apart. The waitress, she holds something over her head because portions of the ceiling are crumbling down. You know, all scripted out, and they get the shot exactly as you need it. You know, so this ketchup bottle rolls across the table. He grabs it and he says, "Hey kid, you know, what are you doing with that mobile device?" And I was like, "Whoa, you know, Adam West." And his next line is, "You know, I got to know what you're doing there with that you know, mobile device." And I say, "It's the new iPhone app, blah blah blah." And he says, "Can I play?" And I was like, "Well, what's in it for me, Adam West?" And he says, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well, can I drive your car?" And he's like, And I said, "And can I wear whatever I want?" So Adam's a little perplexed, and he's like, "What?" You know? And so right away we cut immediately back to the Bat theme again, and us in the car.
Oh, that's great.
And we're flying down the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
where is this in relation? Is this on the grounds of the...
This is in Hollywood. This is in the parking lot of Television City. It was a Saturday, so it didn't take that much, but they literally cordoned this thing all off the night before, so nobody would park it in the next day.
Yeah.
Just like a real Hollywood shoot. And so the next scene is, you know, I'm having fun driving the car, and Adam West is on his mobile phone, and he's like, "Come on down, baby," you know, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is so cool," you know. I mean, just everything I was actually thinking at the time. And Adam was like, "Well, hey, just whatever you do don't press the red button.
Oh, right.
I was like, red button? You know, why? What's that do?
And this was scripted, right?
Yeah, why not? So I click the red button, and what happens? Out of the back of missile launches, out of the back of them. And Adam and I are like, whoa, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Missile launches into CBS Network, you know, and another reaction shot of Adam and I, things are exploding. And it's like, whoa, and the whole network explodes.
Yeah.
So we literally blew up CBS.
You did.
And I'll tell you something about that particular shot. There was some worry that, oh, gee, maybe the network executives wouldn't like the fact that we were blowing up CBS.
Yeah, that they may be offended or fined.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, in this day and age, you just don't do these kinds of things. And so this went all the way up to Les Moonves, the president of CBS, because the other VPs, like the president of daytime programming or the vice president of game shows or whatever, you know, they would all, yes, I think it's okay, but let me give it to my boss, and then let me give it to my boss. And it went all the way up to Les Moonves. So Les Moonves got the script. He said, let me see the script. Let me see, what is this all about? And what are you doing this for? And so he reads the script and he sees, oh, well, this is comedy.
Yeah.
This is comedy, and there's no way anybody else is going to take this any other way.
It's anything but comedy.
But comedy, exactly right. So we got the go-ahead from the main man himself and Les Moonves, and we ended up blowing up CBS. It was quite the day. So I bring the car to a screeching halt. Holy 3 strikes, Adam West. You know, what do we do now? And Adam West he's like, well, you know, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And so here comes the scene where I talked about the turbo at the back and the flames coming out. You hear the tires squealing, the Batmobile squeals away down the street, and then they start rolling in, you know, if you'd like to play the new Price is Right video game, you know, go to such and such. You know.
Where would people have seen this? Is this an online thing?
This was on YouTube. This was a channel called Richfield's Gone Wild.
Okay.
I believe it's still up.
Really?
Yeah, and there's another episode there with Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk,
Yeah, sure.
and that's a pretty funny one too. We'll do a whole other day on that, but it was really cool. So.
What was Adam West like?
Oh my God. I always use the word giving when I talk about actors, because this guy was so giving.
Was he?
Yeah, I mean, number one, he was patient with me. I don't know the first thing really about acting. I mean, I took acting classes, but I really never, I was in a couple of shows, but I really never did like a long stint of acting or had to do a monologue or any kind of long duration of dialogue. And Adam was great. And the beauty of this was that it was comic strippy, cartoony, so I didn't have to be believable in the sense of emoting.
Right.
It was all out there, you know. Holy 3 strikes, Adam West. What do we do now? You know what I mean?
It was Richfield's times 10.
Exactly right. Richfield's times 10. So there you go. That was my day on the set of The Prices.
I love the photos. I wish there was like some video or something from back then. Did they shoot? Well, I mean, there was obviously some video. I wish.
Yeah. There's video. Oh, you want to see it?
Do you have video? Do you really?
I've got the whole thing. Put your IFB in. We're going to roll through it right now for folks at home. In order for Dave and I to hear, we don't have a speaker here. So
this is the finished?
This is the finished minute 37 of a 10, 11-hour day.
Okay.
If you can believe that.
Can't wait to see it.
Okay, here you go. Hi, everybody. Rich Fields, the announcer of The Price is Right.
It's a brand new car! Rich Fields, come on down!
Hey, Rich. Have you decided?
I have. I'll take the Cobb salad.
Got it. No need.
With chopped lettuce, hard-boiled egg, blue cheese crumbles, bacon bits, and dressing on the side.
Coming right up. Rich is great, but he can be a little loud.
I'm going to play Plinko! Plinko!
Ketchup?
Whoa, Adam West?
I saw you playing that mobile device. It really looks like fun. I need to know what you're doing.
It's the new Price is Right game for iPhone, now with even more classic pricing games.
I think I got it, kid. Gotta have a shot at that.
What's in it for me, Adam West?
I'll let you drive my car.
Can I wear whatever I want?
Woohoo! It's a new car! Showcase showdown, baby! Cool, I don't know what any of these buttons do.
Just don't press the red one.
Why not? Holy 3 strikes, Adam West! What do we do now?
Oh, let's get the hell out of here. Oh, I wish there were an app for that.
If you want to roll like Adam West, get the new Price is Right iPhone game, including even more classic pricing games.
And don't forget to check out my new DVD, Adam West Naked.
Naked?
Well, not that naked, you silly ninny.
Oh.
That is fantastic. They did such a nice job on that.
Didn't they?
You did too. And then his little promotion at the end, there was something he was pitching to.
Exactly right. Adam West naked.
Well, I mean, it came together beautifully.
The effects, the visual effects.
Oh,
I
sure.
thought, my God, Fremantle spent some money to get that.
They really did. It would look like a big production.
It literally ended up being like a very professional shoot, and the video, like you said, came out spectacular.
What I love about that is you're sort of making fun of yourself.
Yes.
Throughout.
And that's what Fred was telling me.
Yeah.
Adam kept telling me, you're a caricature of yourself. You're a caricature of yourself. Try to remember the old Batmans. You remember how, he didn't use the word hokey, campy. Remember how campy it was?
Sure.
Robin would deliver a line, and I'd deliver something just as campy back. Holy flypaper Batman. Stuff like that. He goes, just think in that vein. And my agent kept saying, yeah, you're a caricature of yourself, but you got to be bigger than life. You got to really throw it out there to make it stick. Because if you don't, it just comes off schlocky.
Oh, sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And you got to kind of let go of everything in your head to a certain extent. It's tough. I mean, so you shot this in segments. You didn't have to memorize every single segment all at once.
Right. Right. Didn't have to memorize much at all because it was shot in such little pieces every time. It was easy enough to do. I'm going to walk out from behind the stage. Hi, Rich Fields, the announcer. The Price is Right. Easy enough. Into the commissary. I'll have the Cobb salad. Memorizing all the ingredients of the Cobb salad and clipping them off as fast as I could, faster than I would have on Price is Right. You read fast on Price. This was like 10 times as fast on Price is Right. And it was just really good. I thought the waitress did a fantastic job. She was really a good actress, and she was just so disgusted.
She looked at you with contempt.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great day. It was a great day for me, and man, I can't even say a dream come true because I never would have even have thought of acting with Adam West from Batman. I mean, come on, man.
It was that was such an iconic show. Back in the day, back in the 60s, and he was the guy. I never really saw him in too much after that. I know he was on episodes of the Family Guy.
Yeah, played the mayor for years.
Yeah, but I didn't really know. I'm sure viewers out there or listeners will listen to this and say, oh yeah, well he was in this, and this, and this.
Well, before Batman, he was in a lot. I mean. A Big Valley with the Barclays, Gunsmoke, a lot of those things, playing bit parts, working his way up the ladder. But I think once he got Batman, he was pretty much typecast.
Yeah, I mean, after that, it was, again, such an iconic role that it's tough to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Hard to get out of that. But he made a good penny, going to... conventions and comic book stuff, and Batman conventions, comic book conventions, just all kinds of stuff.
Robin's still around.
Yeah, Burt Ward, sure, he's still alive. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder what he thinks about you.
It's funny you say that. I just tried to contact him recently.
Oh, really?
Trying to find a working phone number or email on people is really difficult, especially people in the public eye, because they don't want to be found.
No. So often you get an agent number or whatever. You get something.
Right. So that's what I did. I went to IMDb and got a hold of his management people. But a lot of people don't want to do things for free.
Sure.
Like Dave and I.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to get folks on. Matter of fact, that's what Wink Martindale said to me. He said, Rich, number one, I'm retired. Number two, I don't do anything for free anymore.
Right.
I said, I understand, Wink.
Right.
But, even though we had the same agent and I worked together with him and did pilots together with him and everything, and he still wasn't going to do it for free.
You know what I think that was interesting about, you look at Bob Barker. He continued to do bits with disc jockeys around the country.
Yes.
And, he had made his money, and he recognized that the fans are what made him. That's why he was successful.
Right, that drive it. You're exactly right.
Yeah. So I think that, to a certain extent, you know, when you're in the public eye, you owe something to the people who have watched and listened. And,
Absolutely.
you know.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, and you're right. Bob absolutely thought that, you know, and he said it many times. He would say it during commercial stop downs. You know, Bob would talk to the audience.
Right.
He doesn't disappear and going back during commercial time or a stop down. Bob's out there talking with the audience, and so he would say it many times. You know, it's you folks who made me what I am today. So, you know, what can I do for you today? Or you know, Bob, you're so funny. Thanks for being out here and talking to us. And he would always say, "Oh, are you kidding me? You're the reason I'm here."
You know, it's interesting, all the people you ran into. I would assume, because they shoot soap operas here, too. I'm
Yes.
sure you just ran into a lot of those folks as well.
Oh yeah. I told you that I met Doug Davidson one of my very first days of walking into CBS at the commissary, or walking out of the commissary, and I was like, oh my God, Doug Davidson. I said, you know, Nighttime Price is Right. I was like, I'm Rich Fields. I'm the new announcer over there. Oh, you are? I mean, as soon as you give them some kind of link, that you're not just some stalker.
Sure, like you initially were when you and your dad broke in.
Then they warm up,
Yeah.
you know, and Doug and I we were quite friendly for my entire time there. As a matter of fact, I've just reached out to Doug Davidson because some fans are like, hey, we should have him on the show.
Oh, wow.
So I'm reaching out to Doug, and it'd be interesting to get his insight and perspective on doing some of the nighttime shows back in the heyday. So.
Yeah. Well, I hope folks at home are able to go, you know, and check out these photos and videos on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ComeOnDownPodcast. So that's the place to go.
Yeah, and Dave mentioned at the top of the show, if you're listening to this on one of your podcast providers, go to our YouTube page, man. Check out the video. I mean, not only are Dave and I handsome guys to look at, but we show a lot. We show a lot of pictures, a lot of videos. So watching the podcast is a lot of fun.
That's particularly humbling after we've just seen Batman. You know,
I know.
Adam West,
I'm kidding, of course. He's a very handsome man. He's a really good-looking guy.
Yeah. You know, we should take some questions.
Yeah,
Wanna do that.
Let's do that.
Okay. So Anthony Hefner writes, Rich, did you and Bob and Drew ever hang out side of the show? If so, did they get along, and what would guys do? So did Bob and Drew ever hang out?
No, they never hung out. They were together a couple of times, you know, for stuff on stage. Like there's some photos of Bob handing Drew the mic, like, you know, the official handoff, stuff like that. And then Bob came back for a couple episodes to promote his book, things like that. But in public, as far as I know, from hanging out with both Bob and hanging out with both Drew and Bob, no, it's not like they went out and had cocktails or anything, or dinner.
They're pretty different people, really.
Extremely different. Two generations. You know, two different generations. So aside from photos of, there's a pretty popular photo of Bob, me, and Drew on stage. So it's like the only photo of the three of us together. That's out there. I see that a lot on the internet a lot. And then there's one other photo. It was actually at Roger's farewell party.
Roger, the
previous producer.
Yeah.
They threw him a big party, and Mr. Barker came to that, and Drew came to that, even though Drew knew, you know, well, who called the shots on getting him out of there. But there was a chance for folks to get photos then, and I actually got one with Bob, Drew, and me at that party. But it ended up real grainy and bad. It was from somebody else's camera, and I thought, oh, darn, you know, shoot.
Yeah. Well, you have every other picture in the world.
I do.
Okay. This is a question observation. Did sponsors bail out when Bob left? The product descriptions changed a lot. For example, what once might have been enjoy fried rice at home anytime in a variety of flavors, Rice-A-Roni as the San Francisco treat became a 6.2 ounce of delicious fried rice.
I didn't realize that, but seeing that, it printed like that, it sounds like maybe Rice-A-Roni was no longer paying, and even though they wanted to have some what we call fee items, something little and tiny and barely worth $2, $3, well, we weren't going to give them the plug.
Right.
Or the new Price is Right.
Yeah, unless they paid for it.
Wasn't going to give them the plug. They just said this box of rice. So I don't know if advertisers were bailing. I mean, I can only imagine that after Mr. Barker left, a lot of people pulled the plug.
Sure.
But I have no idea how it does now monetarily. I don't know what its ratings are, and if sponsors did bail, I could only see that being the reason why they wouldn't have said Rice-A-Roni in that particular.
I'm assuming they wouldn't be doing the show if there weren't some profit in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes people will give you prizes just for the mention.
Sure.
So
Right. But I mean, I don't think CBS would continue with
Probably
the show
not.
at a loss.
Oh, right. I got you. No,
Yeah.
you're right about that. Yeah.
Okay, this is says Silly O'Ryan. Silly O'Ryan writes, you say you were done announcing game shows. I thought maybe you would be monitoring Johnny Gilbert's health and ready to take over Jeopardy when the time comes.
No, not really. I mean, that number one seems kind of morbid in the first place to be, waiting for somebody to pass away.
Sure.
It just so happened that the two biggest shows I've ever done came on the heels of somebody passing away. I mean, it just shows you how big these jobs are. You don't leave them on your own accord. I mean,
You have golden handcuffs.
yes, exactly right. It's a high-profile show with big money. You don't leave on your own.
Yeah.
You don't leave on your own. So, the guys doing these shows, like Johnny Gilbert, I mean, I'm sure he'll stay there till the day he passes away. Yeah, but I'm certainly not waiting around for Johnny to pass away to get his job. I don't even know if it even happened, if it even came up, if I would even think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there, kind of done that, Dave, and to go back for one other show.
Sure.
And, Jeopardy isn't like Price. Jeopardy is, now here's your host,
Yeah, it's more
Ken Jennings.
yeah.
That's about it.
You're appealing
I mean,
to a very different audience, right?
It's not just the delivery. I'm just saying there's no meat to the announcer job.
Right.
It's
Oh, yeah, it's
It's
just
an
kind of
opening
a-
and a close.
that's true.
And maybe a fee item in the middle someplace, or to get tickets
Yeah.
possibly. But Price for an announcer.
Yeah.
The Price is Right is the Mac Daddy of all game shows. I mean, it's high exposure for the announcer,
sure.
not only visually but audibly as well.
Sure.
And having done that, under really extreme conditions, Bob's last 3 years ramping up to his
Sure.
retirement, and then Drew's first 3 years, getting up to speed. I mean, just really very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Or is it nerve-wracking?
Nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking. So,
Yeah.
I mean, kind of been there, done that. I don't think I'd go back even if Johnny Gilbert had left the show or passed away,
Yeah.
and they were looking for somebody. I don't think,
Yeah.
unless I could do it from home, which I do a lot. I mean, I do a lot of voiceover from home. I don't see why you couldn't do Jeopardy from home.
Oh, sure. People
Look at Joey Fatone
Right.
on Family Feud. I mean, he's not there. Joey's
Right.
not there.
Right.
That's all taped.
I'm sure. I mean, is that even live on Jeopardy when they do that?
Yes.
That's live announcing?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. I've been to Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Johnny Gilbert has a little booth right there. Little.
What's the purpose of doing it live? Because it's kind of the same thing all the time, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I know with Wheel of Fortune that there was even some banter, some give and take between Pat and I, or Pat and the current announcer, Jim. Because Pat will say, and Jim, I guess you have something to give him, right? I sure do, Pat. Should I do it now? Yeah, tell them what they want. Okay, it's...
Okay, gotcha. That makes
So
sense.
there is
makes
some-
sense here.
Yeah, there is some give and take
Yeah,
there.
not
But
so much with Jeopardy.
no, I don't think I've ever heard. I mean, I'm sure you guys will correct me, but I don't think I've ever heard, Alex talk to Johnny and them talk back
Sure.
and forth. He may acknowledge Johnny, thank you, Johnny Gilbert, and Johnny, tell him, where they can get tickets or something like that. But I don't think there's any back and forth. Jeopardy would be no reason to have somebody there live, except the fact that the announcer on that show also does warm-up, audience warm-up.
Oh, I see.
So
That makes sense.
you
How
kind
big of an
of
audience is that at Jeopardy?
Jeopardy. If Price is 300 people, I'd say Jeopardy is 100.
Oh, small.
150.
Yeah.
Small.
I mean, there's really no audience participation.
Jeopardy is
in
small.
that.
Wheel, maybe, I'm guessing, again, using Price is Right audience, if it's at 300, I'd say Wheel was probably upwards near 2.
And then the clapping that you hear on a show like Jeopardy or whatever.
Canned.
It's all canned.
I mean, they're out
Yeah,
there clapping,
right.
and there's mics.
But they've got to add it.
Sweetening, it's
Yeah,
called.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it sweetening. So after they've recorded the audience live, then now they put in the sound effects and sweeten it up a little bit so it sounds a little more full, a little louder,
Right.
everything else.
Do you
Yeah.
think Ken Jennings is going to get that gig?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants it, though.
Really?
I've seen many things from him
Really?
saying, I don't know if I really want the full-time job.
I don't think I really, which sounds like he's leaving the door open if he's said something to that effect. Or,
Yeah. You know, I don't, frankly, my embryonic, I mean, she does a fine job. I don't know what folks' real problem is with her. I don't know. You just read stuff on the internet. I see people saying things like, oh, she never should have done that commercial saying I'm so brainy. Because it makes her look, you know,
arrogant or whatever.
Yes. And so now they can't watch the show without thinking, oh, she's arrogant. I don't know.
I mean, Ken Jennings, it's hard to argue. I mean, you feel like he deserves to be there because he, you know, was such a legendary
all-time. Yeah. Greatest winner of... Is he still? You guys can correct me on that. Has anybody beat Ken Jennings' duration or money? I think somebody did beat his money.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person.
I think somebody beat
run,
his high total earlier than he got to it, or something like that. But
all right.
Nonetheless, there you go.
We should remind people a little bit about you know, how they can listen to us, how they can watch us. If you are listening to us right now and you'd like to watch and look at those videos, photos, and all the things we mentioned here, go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/comeondownpodcast. Again, facebook.com/comeondownpodcast. And you know, and you can always go to our YouTube page and listen to previous episodes. There's a lot of fun stuff. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the future too.
We do. I was hoping to be able to say what next week was all about, but I'm still waiting on engineers. I thought today was the day we were going to get the word, but they actually thought we were okay, but we tested it out. And
I mean, it's more complicated than you
we
think.
have so many people lined up. Yeah, it is. It's more complicated than you think. Taking a live person from
live feed from
the other side of the country, live to us, live on YouTube, to you guys, live on your phone. It takes a lot more than you think. So.
Yeah, it's like blowing up a car in television city in Hollywood, or blowing up CBS.
Which was a lot of fun. You know, we'll have to do the Lou Ferrigno episode someday too,
cool.
now that we're talking about it. So, all right, well, there you go.
Well, it's been great being with you today. Great hearing about that man, Adam West, and everything else. And I'm surprised he didn't throw you in the can for, you know.
I know.
Yeah. For doing something so awful. Hope you join us next time for another episode of
Come On Down.
Thanks for tuning in to Come On Down with Rich Fields. See more photos and videos mentioned on this episode. Plus, interact with Rich on Facebook at facebook.com/comeondownpodcast or on Twitter at comeondownpod. Have a question for Rich? Use Facebook Messenger to connect on our Come On Down Podcast Facebook page. And remember, new episodes are live every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern.